Hey everybody, this is Jack Silverstein from Ion Shy. It is Monday morning here in Wicker Park, November 26th. And I want to talk about something that I've learned while covering the Bears for Red Eye. I've been going to practice 2-3 times a week, and one of the things I love asking players about, young players, so I like asking young players about what it is that they learned from watching older players. So I've talked to Shea McClellan about watching Julius Peppers work, talked to Alshon Jeffrey about watching Brandon Marshall work, etc. And in the meantime, I'm, of course, as a young reporter, watching all these veteran reporters, guys who've been on the job 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, watching them work. And I've gained respect for a lot of guys and women, but one person in general who stands out and I want to highlight here is Vaughn McClure of the Tribune. When Shiloh Rochelle left the Bears, Vaughn McClure's story last week, the opening draft was, Chicago Bears left guard Shiloh Rochelle left the team Wednesday after becoming upset after being demoted in favor of Chris Spencer, multiple sources told the Tribune. Alright, so I've read sports pages my whole life, and I've always seen that sort of thing, multiple sources told the Tribune. And I don't know, for me anyways, growing up, I never had a concrete view of what that even meant. Like, were people calling and telling the Tribune? Were guys in the... No. And I guess I should know this, but in this case, Vaughn McClure is using his contacts and is using his hustle and is just rolling around Palace Hall on Wednesday morning, talking to everybody and getting the scoop. And it's been really fascinating watching a lot of guys work, but particularly watching Vaughn. He stays away from sort of the pack of reporters who go to each locker, and you can always see him talking to someone else who no one else is talking to, which is what I try to do. So I've really been keeping an eye on him and his work. So when the Shiloh Rochelle thing came out, I was really fascinated to watch him work and then to see what the story looked like in print. 2 days later, Gabe Carimi also was benched after the Niners game, and he was benched in favor of a right tackle named Jonathan Scott, NFL veteran, played with the Lions, Bills, and Steelers. Went to the Super Bowl, whatever that was, 3 years ago against Green Bay with Pittsburgh. Really, really nice guy. Gave me my quote of the year when I asked him, do players really pay attention at all to what fans in the media say about football? And he said, well, sometimes, but a lot of them just don't know what they're talking about. And he looked at me, he goes, you're a writer, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, well, would you listen to someone, would you take writing advice from someone if you looked at them and you saw they didn't even know how to hold a pencil? And I was like, all right, fair enough. So Friday, we get into the locker room. There's a lot of guys on Friday in the locker room because it's after practice instead of before practice. So the locker room was 64 lockers. The locker room was filled with players. And I'm over there. I'm picking up stuff for this defensive line feature that I'm working on, and just doing my thing. And then the swarm is doing their thing. And I look over and Vaughn is talking to John Scott. And tape recorder out, and they're just smiling and talking. And I look over about 5 minutes later, and they're still talking. I look over 10 minutes later, and they're still talking. And Vaughn must have talked to John Scott for 15, 20 minutes. And I was just so intrigued as I look back, because Vaughn, whenever Vaughn is talking to someone, that person almost always is smiling. And they just had such a great conversation. I was really excited to see what the story would be, and it came out, and it was a great piece, and I've got it posted here at Ion Shy. So I just wanted to give props to Vaughn McClure, and it's been fascinating watching him work. So that's it for me, and I hope everybody has a great week.